Hello, and welcome. My name is Michelle. I'm your emotional resilience coach, and I am a recovering fawn. This is what I do: is I teach you tools and ways and how I have learned to quieten down or restrain or hold in the inclination and the pull for me to fall into patterns of being a fawn. I grew up in a narcissistic household, and as such, I have very codependent tendencies. And my passion is to teach you how to not be a fawn. If this resonates with you, please do hit like, subscribe, and the notifications button. I'm going to get straight into it today. I want to ask you, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right? The reason why this is coming up is so often when coaching people and talking to people and listening to people, when trying to own our stories, we feel this need that our story needs to be seen, heard, recognized, and validated by everybody, including the people who wounded us. We feel, why can't you see this? Why can't you understand this? Why can't you do whatever I feel you need to do in order for me to get closure? And so often that's not going to happen because, rightly or wrongly, for whatever the reasons are, our truths and our realities and their truths and their realities are going to have some differences. There are going to be some conflicts, and when we're going to say, no, that didn't happen that way. And they're going to say, no, you misunderstood me. It wasn't meant in that way. And we can end up in this real entangled boil of who's right, who's wrong. We're trying to disentangle this mess of emotions. And what happens invariably is it just becomes more intense. We show up saying, I need to be validated, I need to be seen, and I need to be heard. And in owning our stories, we get to do that for ourselves. It is not up to other people to see and hear and validate our truths and our realities. They're going to have their own lenses. They're going to have their own viewpoints. They're going to have their own perceptions of what is and isn't going on. And so owning your story is allowing you to honor the pain, the feeling, the wound, and to go through the grieving process that you need to really honor what did or did not happen to you or for you, and to really acknowledge it and say, that sucked. That was really a horrible time, a horrible experience. This is what this made me feel. This is what I've made this mean, more importantly than anything else, about me. Trauma is being stuck in the wounds of, I am not good enough. I deserved this bad behavior. There was something intrinsically wrong with me. And that is why we fight to be right, because we believe that if we can prove that we are right, then that means that we are worthy and that we have a right to be here and to exist. And you have a right to be here and exist anyway, regardless of what other people do or do not see, do or do not acknowledge. Your worth is already innate. And we can get into a battle of wills with people, and we can get really entangled into this mess of who's right, who's wrong, what was right, what was wrong, how they showed up, how I showed up. We can really get into this whirlpool of emotion of hear me and listen to me and see my point of view. And the other person is coming from the same angle where they're saying, no, you hear me, you listen to me, you see my point of view, you misunderstood, you misinterpreted, you whatever the case may be. They might shout back at you, and it becomes this really sticky, icky mess. And then it's this idea of, well, what is truth? Because I have my truth, they have their truth, but what is the ultimate truth? What is real? And I think when we get lost in the details of that, we're losing the point. The point is that our direct experience is the lesson. So the experience I had was the lesson for me, and that was my truth. The experiences that they have are lessons for them, and that is their truth. And that's not taking away from anyone's truth or realities or anything like that. This can coexist at the same time, because I had my specific lessons and they had their specific lessons. And instead of getting stuck into this mess of, well, what is right and what is true and what is real, we can rather step back and say, instead of looking at what is true, what is good? What came out of this that was good? How did I learn? How did I grow? What was the purpose for me in this experience? How did this stretch me? What things about me did I need to look into and look at and acknowledge and see and work on and grow through and from? How was this for me? And let's not get mixed up in what it was for them, because we're not going to know that. All right, that is going to be very specific for their journey and their lives with their lenses and their experiences. And so instead of fighting with the fact of, I am right, and I need everybody to see and know and acknowledge that I am right, and this was unfair, and what this person said and what this person did and how they showed up was so wrong, instead of being embroiled in this mess, what we can do is we can look at the situation and say, what was the purpose of this for me? What did I need to learn so that I can grow and be the better version of me that I know I can be? And then what I like to do is, as we're going through that process, as we're shifting through that process, and I know that sometimes in the thick of it, it is really, really hard to see. But let's, instead of looking for what is true, let's look for what is good. And the good is what's going to bring us the happiness, is what's going to bring us that joy. It's going to bring us that peace and that acceptance. That the good that came out of this was that I learned that these are wounds I need to look at. The good that came out of this was that I needed to learn that I needed to love me and give me what I've been asking other people to give me, which is acceptance and validation and saying that's okay. What good that came out of the situation was that I got to sit down and own my story and honor the pain and grieve what needs to be grieved, sit with the emotion, push through that emotion, and come out on the other side a better, stronger, wiser person than I was before I went through this. Does it make it okay? Are we going to give it the thumbs up and say, woohoo, I'm glad? No, some things are going to stay yucky. Some things are going to stay terrible, and some things are going to stay hard. But what we can do is we can look for the good in it. If we look for the meaning and the purpose and the good in it, and if we are open to it, it will come to us, and we will know, and we can lean into being happy rather than being right. Let me know what you're struggling with in the comments below. I know that as a fawn, we feel that we need other people to validate us, to let us know that we are right. But I need you to know and understand that the work is there for you to do, to know and understand that without anybody else's opinions, you are enough and you are okay and you are right. And sometimes it is a struggle to push through that and work through that. So if you are interested, let me know in the comments below. DM me on Instagram or come on over and say hi and let me know what it is that you're trying to figure out. What is it that you're grappling with? Sometimes you need another viewpoint, someone who's an outsider, who's not emotionally involved, who can look at it and see our blind spots and say, well, that was really gross and horrible and sucky and yuck and ugh, everything about it is just stinky, but you came out of it, or this is what there is for you to learn, or what are you making things mean? There's so many facets that we can pull apart in our stories. But at the end of the day, what we want to look for and what we want to lean into and what we want to embrace is, what is the purpose from this, and what can I say is good? At the end of the day, we can look at ourselves in the mirror and say, I am good. This experience has made me better, wiser, stronger, more compassionate, more empathetic towards other people and their journey. I am good. So if this resonates with you, please do hit like, subscribe, the notifications button. And if there's anybody you feel this could help, forward it on. The more people that know, the greater the community, the better. Please do leave me your thoughts below.